disappointed when I'm like, oh, you know what? I chose the bad, quote unquote bad pick.
Well, we're gonna pick some good decisions right now. We got the Koji, of course, coming out from Acno. This is what we've known him for so long. But very smartly on Snowy. I mean, for a lot of people, Asuri has just been such a good answer to many things, including boots. So you don't have to deal with that too much in this meta. But how do you answer the bow play from Acno? And it's been such a nightmare for so many people to deal with.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're going to have a lot of space control with something like this bow. You've got things like the bow downlight, you've got bow endlight, bow dare, all great ways to take away space. And then you have Katars on the other side that are like actively trying to get within that space. Yep. And even when you do, it's not like you're playing against blasters where they only have one stacked option. Acno's got bow nair, he's got bow endlight, he's got bow sidelight with a dash, and then suddenly everything's working really well. So it's going to be a really hard spot for Snowy to be in.
Yeah, and I always think of Katars as a great punish weapon as well, and that's hard to do if you're properly spacing with bow all the time, which Acno's going to do, but that recovery will take it out off the top. Snowy's actually the one to draw first.
That was a really good option too. Acno went for the gravity cancel sig, and Snowy decided to jump gravity cancel because he knew he couldn't wait for Acno to come back down. That is a Koji he's going up against. High dexterity character means that you get away with a lot.
Yeah, and Acno, good dodge right there. He's going to be able to get a reversal there, but not get the KO just yet. Looking for a recovery too. Snowy's been outspacing him repeatedly though. There's another sidelight pushing him deep off stage. Great reversals there, but he took a little bit of damage before it happened.
One thing I'm worried about specifically from Snowy is he has this really bad habit of when he starts getting nervous, he'll throw away his weapon a lot.
We actually talked about that a ton as he started moving away, because at Winters, I feel when he won, I feel like so many people weren't prepared for how often he weapon tossed, and then everybody figured it out. And now that he can't get that to work again, it's become too much of a habit. I agree entirely with that.
I mean, he's been doing a good job of kind of holding on to his weapon. Even then, he threw away the weapon, but it was clearly to swap over to this sword for that KO potential. He's got Acno in the red, but he's going to go back to the the Katars to try to deny some weapon spawns. And now you're starting to see those weapon tosses come out from Snowy.
Yeah, you were getting, he's just cycling a lot, but he does have D-Light Sair pretty, actually he has it right now.
Whoa.
Oh, Acno getting up away though. He's gonna go to sweat beat, so Snowy's gonna be able to get back. I figured he might be able to get a reversal, get a chase dodge back up, but he committed a little bit too hard to try and steal away that stock.
Yeah, the Nair was a weird decision. That's usually what you do to like save your teammate in 2v2s. Then I think he was just hoping there was enough damage on Snowy that it could be a trade out. Unfortunately, Snowy had a little bit more health in the pocket, but the Dare gonna even it up.
Very similar situation to stock 1-2. He took a little bit of damage, not too much, but are you able to clutch it out here at the end? We've seen a lot of people kind of falter throughout the weekend. I feel like stage presence and just being on stage in general, Duke, has been playing a big factor for a lot of people's normally good nerves throughout this tournament.
I like that pickup there from Acno, though. Downlight, gravity cancel, and sig. I don't believe that's true, but he's going to get it again onto Snowy.
Don't fix it. Keep
I think
it
it's like a one-frame thing, which is pretty hard to get out of, especially, like you said, with that tournament nerves being on that stage.
Yeah, I definitely see him going for, like the way he's lining it up, too, he's going to get Snowy to freak out and try to jump away from it next time, and I could see a hard call jump read recovery off that same setup, which instead he's actually going to go for D-Light Sair. It won't be enough just yet, but one more good call, he's going to get just back on.
What a nair from Snowy. He needed that hit on the Acno, especially because he's unarmed. It's not like he can go for that safe weapon toss to try to get some breathing room. Acno still maintaining that stage control. They go spot dodge for spot dodge, but Snowy with the call out.
Yeah, it's all about who makes the first mistake right here. D-Light recovery off that platform definitely gets rid of it. Whoa. Snowy weapon tossing up, trying to get him to make a mistake and catch that nair. Here's another one. Does he catch Acno on the landing? He fades away and gives him an opportunity to land.
I mean, you talked about how this weapon toss playstyle got figured out in NA, but fortunately for Snowy, Acno's EU, so he might not be ready for the weapon toss. He doesn't hit the recovery, and Acno with the punish. Downlight side air. Acno takes game number 1.
What a drop! Like, how many times this weekend have we seen what should be textbook scenarios that just be a closeout, and people dropped it a ton in 2s, and it carries over here in 1s? You did make a very valid point with the fact that we do have international fights going on right now, so he's not necessarily prepped for the weapon tosses, but you just can't let that happen. You have to close it out, and Acno ends up kind of stealing that one away.
Once again, the tournament nerves really coming into play here. Snowy knows there's arguably more on the line for him. I know I was kind of joking a little bit earlier when I was talking about how Acno's already in the top 4 of 2v2s, but realistically, like, Acno could fall here, and he's fine. He still has tomorrow no matter what happens right now. Meanwhile, Snowy, he's out of 2v2s. He has to perform here if he wants to continue playing throughout the weekend.
Yeah, you're in the money, and also there's a thing that does play into people's head, even though they try to act like it doesn't. You are the region's rep. you are from North America, you're trying to make sure that EU doesn't get to you, so you can be another one. And that will play in your head as Acno strikes out not only first this time, but significantly better, because every other time he was always in the yellow by the time he lost the stock and got a revenge KO. Yeah,
this one is definitely much more handedly in Acno's favor after that initial start. I mean, of course, getting that punish there, I think it kind of weighs on Snowy's mind, and the fact that they jump straight into the map is a little surprising to me.
Yeah, usually I'm the one that's like, say, hey, look, take a pause. It's perfectly fine to pause and take a second if you have a close game that goes away. Sure, if you want to go right back into it, then go ahead, but it's better to recollect yourself because you don't want to not be clear-minded against the caliber of someone like Acno.
Well, Snowy, mind looking clear, but he didn't keep track of the movement, and Acno gets back to the wall safely. Snowy not able to deny the wall touch.
Snowy needs to find this first KO pretty soon because Acno is building up damage. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. He's going to get caught on spot dodge, but he gets the reversal dare, tries to go off stage and get a wall bounce there, but never finds his mark. Instead, though, the weapon toss, these weapon tosses from Acno have been on the mark.
And that almost bounced up into a recovery there. Acno, he's already done the damage that he needs to. He's in position to take another stock off of Snowy, and you can see he wants it with how aggressive he's going unarmed, but Snowy finally gets the downline recovery. Not going to drop it this time, but he needs to basically go untouched.
Yeah, damage is done. Now can you seal the deal? Make sure that you minimize the damage. Guitars are a great option for that. You have good burst, and you have the ability to kind of sneak out a quick stock if you want to, too. I wouldn't be surprised to see Snowy make an attempt, as he actually is kind of trying to go for it right there, but doesn't connect.
We sweat beating, and Acno able to pick up that recovery, and now Acno has so much health to play with, more opportunities to widen this gap.
Yeah, Acno, yeah, this is completely reversed by everything compared to that first game. Oh, Acno, no!
One more hit.
Acno, he's gonna catch him again. What a stock from Acno. That pushes him up 2-0 in the lead. Snowy has a lot to figure out here, Duke, which puts the question to you on the table. What is the game plan, and how do you go about it? Because so far, Acno has completely adjusted with a full download in Game 2.
If Snowy doesn't swap characters, I am genuinely surprised. And it's not a criticism of the Asuri as much as it's just like, I know Snowy has other characters, but color me surprised, he's sticking with the Asuri. It worked so close to well in the first game, so I can't fully fault him for it, but also I know he's got more.
Yeah, I mean, if you have games to play, it means the set's not over. You still have an opportunity to make a comeback. I do agree that it definitely felt like it got figured out, and I was expecting maybe Rayman to come back out, but he's committed to the Asuri. Feels like it's working, and, you know, Acno kind of like hitting himself on the head, like, hey, don't do that. Rebound, but we take those if you're Snowy.
Got a little greedy there with that ground pound. Didn't go as close to the wall. You saw the way that Snowy tried to dip underneath that kind of angle to make sure that he was dipping as far away from that ground pound. It is a pretty slow moving option too from Acno.
Hand a little bit too deep in the cookie jar. Sometimes you want to go for that play, but you make a mistake. But Acno's been playing so good that he's probably able to rebound off of this. But for Snowy, you know, since that first stock, he's actually, like, it feels like maybe that's that confidence boost he needed to get something going.
Yeah, it did take a little bit of a breather between Game 2 and Game 3, so he's a little bit more clear-headed as we get into these stocks, and he did get that lead, and he's starting to get more built up onto Acno as well, so it's kind of looking like a reversal of Game 2.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how, like, different this game was compared to Game 2. It was such a dominantly played game from Acno, but one mistake. Okay, well, now the data's getting collected. You saw the neutral lights. He was waiting it out to see what he would do. Going a little bit too low. He did take a lot of damage, though, so even if you have that mistake happen, you already put Acno deep in the red, so it's okay. You just need a rebound.
That was just so weird, because it was like, is he waiting for his recovery for a specific reason? Maybe he was expecting Acno to come out, try to get that last blow, and maybe get a surprise turnaround with that recovery, but Acno did manage to even up the stock count. He's got a little bit of health here. I don't think a downline recovery would quite take out just yet.
Yeah, I think back to that play, so I think you're on the money with that. I think he was trying to hover on the knees so he could get Acno and then maybe reverse recover the other way and try and trip him up, but Acno smartly just stayed on stage. And speaking of Acno, doing very well, but he's going to get caught by the recovery, so now Acno on last stock, once again, each one of them have always had like this same damage lead off of each KO.
That was a good decision from Snowy there to go straight into the recovery. That was, I believe, a gravity cancel from Acno right before it, and the weapon toss to set up. Snowy denying so many weapons, but he doesn't get the pickup just now, and suddenly he's disarmed against Acno.
Yeah, do not let this weapon start last for long. There you go, he's going to get back to the Katars, but don't let Acno start to kind of recoup, because he's building it back up. Dare recovery won't be enough yet, but another recovery. Actually, Sayer, weapon toss out. That's we are at a significantly closer game that could actually just mean a 3-0 for Acno.
Yeah, this is much more doable for Acno, especially because, again, he's got the weapon control and he's putting some arrows into that cap of Snowy, and
He had to
just
read on that too.
enough.
Like, it looked like he was looking for either a jump or a GC D-Light right there to punish it, but he missed. Doesn't matter though. This game is, once again, it's very even. Trying to go for a big read, misses out, but still, when was the last time Snowy had like a good control of center?
I know, like he had such a lead. Oh, he doesn't slide into the end sig. Wait, okay, got the dodge, but that's just damage. Snowy needs the KO. Down light, recovery, doesn't drop it. He's gonna hold on.
What a great job from Snowy at the end there too. He had multiple times where Acno was looking for that GC D-Light punish off of the weapon pickup. He knew that's what he wanted, but the last time he committed to it, it's like, look, I don't care if you're hunting for it. I'm going to instead reposition myself on the right instead of the left, cross you up, and get the closeout. Even with as aggressive as Acno got in that last stock, he keeps his run alive. And for a change, we have a different scenery. We're going to go to Miami Dome.
Okay, interesting swap here. There's a pillar in the middle and there's two soft platforms. That's kind of the two most notable changes here. The pillar, I don't think it really came into play. It's not like Snowy was dipping underneath the map. The two soft platforms might be nice with how vertical Acno's been playing, but also like Snowy off a soft platform could get an end light recovery and KO real quick.
Yeah, I think a little bit, it actually kind of helps Snowy a bit more, even though it's not his counter pick, because he has more room to land. I feel like he had a really hard time at the end of that last game actually getting down to the ground. Acno not really caring too much about that though. He wanted to see if he'd jump over, maybe expecting a recovery play to get a big read in center. He never gave it to him though.
Right now, Snowy is definitely struggling, and Acno's like, are you gonna make a move? you gonna play some Brawlhalla? I'm gonna sit over here for a sec.
Come on, bro. What you doing? I want all the smoke. Get over here. The weapon tosses once again working for Snowy. Oh, wow, just snatched him off the platforms to get down here. Acno's still hunting for a weapon, but gets the punish once again off that. He's been really happy with these GCD lights on, and Acno's just seeing through all of them.
Ooh, that time he gets it, goes for the dare bounce. Again, higher ceiling here on Miami Dome, so maybe wasn't confident that this straight recovery off of the downlight was going to work out, but he disarms himself on that whiffed weapon toss, and Acno, with the stage control, gets the down heavy.
Amazing job from Acno on that recovery route and the punish. He slid away using that GCD light unarmed to get back on, but Snowy, this time for a change, revenge KOs right away. There was no big lead that was established from either player this time.
Yeah, we're not seeing that like get an early lead and maintain it. Instead, it's pretty back and forth here in game number 4. Snowy gets a little tap of damage.
Snowy getting the neutral light, looking for the dodge read, and he had it too. He was looking for it, and he did not commit early enough to that nair, so Acno gets back down. But a game kind of coming to a crawl in its own way because both of them giving each other a lot of respect. Not many side light or D-light starters from Acno I've noticed on Bo, because I feel like he's waiting for Snowy to always hit first.
The Sayer slaps him under, and Snowy disengages, respecting the bow vertical pressure that Acno can throw out there. And now Snowy just trying to play the stage control game, but there's that gravity cancel downlight that you've been talking about.
Acno chasing heavy right now. Both of them completely unarmed. Snowy does get a weapon advantage. He's got the guitars in play, but he weapon tosses him away again immediately. Now it's Acno's turn.
Oh, spacing out, but a little too far on that, and Acno with the punish, because again, that's a burned aerial dodge from Snowy every time he whips that gravity cancel, but Acno with the recovery at the top of the map.
Dude, Acno is so good in that position. He is constantly trying to reverse Snowy. That's the first time it finally worked, but Snowy hasn't had like a good job chasing him in disguise other than that moment right there, but he still does not get the unarmed recovery to get the stock.
Yeah, when it comes to air pressure, I really want to give it to Acno. Snowy's had a couple of moments, but really it's felt like Acno's had the juggles for the most part.
Yeah,
nice
Snowy
dare.
finally gets that dare. Acno did chase him a ton, so he was already approaching sweat beads. That's going to be a guaranteed KO. Well, it seems like I feel like for Acno, the main gameplay is just bait Snowy into picking up sword, because I don't know if I've seen, other than that one neutral light into GC, no, it was GC neutral light into recovery off guitars. Everything else has always been a sword KO from Snowy.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of that's a Surrey staple, you know, build up a lot of damage with guitars and then KO with the sword. Although I think Snowy's been kind of just been doing damage with the sword as well.
Sure. Majority of his successful weapon play has definitely been on the sword so far, so keep going. I'm sorry, every time I see that like up close, it's just the rudest thing. It's like, yo, have these.
Bet you won't dodge.
You won't. Acno's like, yeah, I will.
All Alright, Neutralite catches the landing of Snowy.
Acno's vigilant too. He doesn't really look too scared of a lot of Snowy's movement, but he kind of should be. Snowy's kind of moving around pretty well around these soft platforms all of a sudden, Duke.
Yeah, he's starting to get better and better at dash jumping off of these south platforms, canceling out that movement. But now he's over to the Katars. Dares over the corner.
That's a really weird position you just put yourself in. Seer comes through, weapon toss out. He's going to have to go low. Let's see what Acno does about the punish. Tries to catch him with a Seer. Snowy gets the read.
He waited, but it's not quite enough. Hits the dare, hits the weapon toss. Acno still manages to touch.
What an incredible amount of patience from Acno once again. And now Snowy trying to land his way back down. He finally does. But one good punish. If Acno finds a D-Light recovery, that's pretty much it.
Sword v sword, weapon toss, and Acno gets caught. Snowy with the down light recovery. The weapon toss to bait an action works out.
Well done from Snowy in that position. There were 3 times where he gave up an advantage and he came out on top. That was really well played. Like right here, that incredible movement from Acno to get around it, got him that first one. And then it pans out again later on that last stock position after Acno, of course, catches Snowy right. Actually, no, Snowy gets this one. But no, actually, it was Acno again. Yeah, like multiple times. Almost every KO from Acno or a position where he could potentially KO was off of Snowy, almost giving up what was his moment to strike. But it doesn't matter because Snowy has evened it up, Duke, and we are at game number 5. And this is once again just to get into top 32.
Yeah, I think one thing that stands out to me specifically about the graph that we're seeing at the bottom right now is that Acno's stock peaks are higher across the board than Snowy's. That means Snowy is struggling a little bit more than Acno each time they get into the red to get those KOs. And that's one thing that, like, it's a struggle point for Snowy because, like, you have sword, you're getting these sword KOs, but you're taking a really long time to get it.
I mean, that's the thing that builds champions, right? Like, defense wins championships. Acno has done that for so long in EU, up until Godly recently, pretty much kind of giving him, like, taking his throat away from him. This is one of the hardest players to hit in Brawlhalla at KO damage. That's just panning out as it's playing through until these last couple games again. People are crumbling a little bit under pressure. And we could see yet another reverse 3L happen here.
Definitely could happen. Could see another European fall here, but we'll see what happens as we get into game number 5. Snowy versus Acno. First one to pick up the board is the weapon, is Acno.
Our final battle for the last fight into top 32 is going to be Fortress Alliance, and we're going to see Acno push early on Snowy. Snowy recovering high. I like the idea of that. No matter what, you're taking minimum amount of damage. I'd rather not take a big string and continue to get pushed off because Acno's already shown he's willing to go for those early dares.
Ooh, down like ground pound. Snowy needs more. You saw him position the way he jumped out wide, but Acno didn't give him the opportunity. Neutralite, good spot dodge and a turnaround.
Good turnaround once again, and yet another recovery. Acno continuing to chase. Snowy does find the ground. Now his opportunity to try and get some damage on, but Acno has, even when he loses his control of position, he still just gets it right back. But this is an incredibly close start, and that's going to be a TLI recovery that won't get the first kill.
Not enough. Fortress Alliance, also a map with a relatively high ceiling. Snowy with a sword in hand. That's a burned gravity cancel down. Like Acno was really high there. That's a burned gravity cancel from Acno, but Snowy just hits a dare and a weapon toss.
Acno just staying grounded, waiting for Snowy to jump over him, but no KO just yet either. Looking for the dare, but Snowy's gonna get the nair coming back on. And Snowy trying to catch him, but Acno's unarmed nair gets him away. Now sword v sword. D-Light Seer does get it. D-Light recovery, anything gets the job done.
Whoa! Goes for the gravity cancel. Downsig trying to catch Snowy off guard, but he manages to get away from the anime and then hits the down air.
Truly is. And for Acno, I mean, for Acno so far over the last couple games, the damage hasn't been something that he can't get back immediately, as that's going to do it right there. No damage done as he puts it right back to even.
Yeah, keeping this one close. It is game 5. This is the decider who's going to be the last one into the top side of top 32.
That's not a fun trip to Limbs right now either. It's not like, hey, okay, all right, I got knocked out beforehand. No, Kana's down there amongst others, and Acno looking to get one right now. That's a really early one, and Acno now has a massive lead with this full stock up.
Yeah, I know you said it's not a fun trip, but Snowy's got to start packing his bags for it because he is down basically a full stock behind Acno now.
Yeah, last thing you want to do is have to pay for the extra check bag. It looks like you'd have a little bit more baggage to think about while you're down in the limbs because this was such a close game. You've been working on this reverse 3-0. You don't want to have that happen, but Acno is consistently punishing him. Snowy does finally find an opening, but for how much damage? Not too much.
Nice jumping, some movement from Snowy, but he's still taking a lot of damage here from Acno. That's the dare that puts him off stage. The weapon toss, Snowy. Last opportunity, and Acno gets a downlight ground pound to close out game number 5.
You can see the energy shift after a minute
Yeah.
there. As soon as he got that KO off stage, Acno started finding sidelight and dares without contention. That's something we looked at back in game 2 and said, where are they? He hasn't been able to open them up, but it doesn't matter. The sword has been doing the job. That game 5, Acno's confidence went through the roof after he got that early KO. Said, all right, now I know you have to make a play. You need to make something happen. And I'm going to take full advantage of that. And Snowy could not rebound. So incredible job from Acno.